Mr. Joe Hampton, how you doing, sir?
What's up, boss? How you doing? I'm all right.
Man, good, man. It's I'm glad that we're doing this interview. I had a blast watching Last Chance U, so definitely shout out to Netflix. Thank you for coming on the Rematch, basketballnews.com, the Fly TV. There's a lot I want to ask you about, but the first question I'm going to ask is how are you doing now? I know you're at Long Beach State. You know, everything is going good. Just, tell everybody how you're doing now.
First off, thank you for having me on the podcast. It's a blessing to be here. And to answer your question, everything is going great. Life is beautiful right now. I'm enjoying the time that I'm having, all the fans that I'm getting in such short notice. I'm glad a lot of people enjoyed the show. My life at Long Beach is amazing. It's everything that I wanted it to be. Good transferring from the JUCO to D1 level is a major transition, and I'm getting everything that I work for. And like I said before, it's a blessing to be here.
What is some of the feedback that you got from the show? Because everybody, me and my family, we loved it. We watched it in like 48 hours, like real quick. No, we just watched it like straight through. But what was some of the feedback that you got?
That's dope. That's dope. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. Mostly it's good feedback. A lot of people are, like you said, like you and your family, you guys went through it fast. A lot of my fans, they tell me how they enjoyed it, how they loved my attitude. Some people, they give me negative comments, but the good outweigh the bad for sure.
One of the things that I saw in the show, and we'll get into all of it, was your growth throughout the whole program. And, we'll get into that, but let's go back first. I want to go back to the background of everything with Joe Hampton before you even got to the show. Right. So I know you lived a little while in the DMV area, and I know. Tell me about that. Tell me about growing up around here, and your whole process growing up.
Growing up in the DMV area, all the memories that I have, it was fun because growing up in the DMV area, I was playing AAU basketball, and I was playing with my travel team. I had a real good, close-knit team, and everybody was cool. We used to go over each other's houses and stuff like that.
Who'd you play with?
I played with DC Assault.
Oh, DC Assault. Okay.
Yeah. So for the most part, the struggle wasn't really the struggle. I didn't really think too much of it. I knew my family was going through tough times, and we were bouncing from house to house, city to city. I lived in DC for the most part all of my life, but I did live in Maryland for some short time, and I did live with some other family members too. And once I got to high school, I went to DeMatha Catholic High School, and that's like right in the center of the DMV between DC and Maryland area. And that was a ball too, because I got the chance to see what the private school life was like, and the different kinds of people. I was going to school with all boys, and that was different. So yeah, that experience, I'm really, really grateful for, because it actually transitioned me to going to Oak Hill later in my high school career too. So, and that helped a lot with me being secluded. It was like a college setting when I was at Oak Hill. So for the most part, being in the DMV growing up was fun. It was a blast, man.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And so you get to JUCO, and a lot of things that we saw on the program. At first, it was a little bit rocky. That's a good way to say it, right? A little bit rocky. Talk to me about that part and why it was so rocky at first. Talent-wise, that was never. Everybody was like, yeah. You could just see by watching y'all practice or whenever you got in the game, talent-wise, it was crazy. Yeah. Except for when those times when the refs kept calling you for the travel. Like, we was watching, and we rewind it. We're like, wait a minute, is he moving his foot? Like, you know what? The refs might just be picking on him. You know what I mean? That's honestly what me and my family was saying. But talk about that, why it was a little bit of a rocky transition in the beginning.
It was a rocky transition. One, because I knew for a fact I didn't belong there. Like, I knew the caliber of play, and I knew the player that I was, and what I brought to the table, that I knew I didn't belong there, and I was better than a lot of the guys that was there. No shade to the guys that were there at all, but we're just speaking off of my resume, and that's one of the frustrations that I had, because I felt like I was working for what I was supposed to get, and it just wasn't coming to me at all. Like, right. I felt like I worked my tail off to get the starting position, but I just didn't get it. Like, I guess I came up short. But all in all, like, and it was that, and plus two, I had real life issues going on. Like, I was on probation. Like, I was going back and forth checking into probation officers. They were messing with me. I had family issues, had to take care of family for a short period of time, and that was a lot on my shoulders. It was a rough time in general. So that's why, like, you saw me lashing out or getting my attitude, letting it get the best of me, because it was just so much more flowing through my head rather than just what was going on in the game. So,
and a lot of people didn't quite understand it. I mean, I read up on everything that was going on with you, prior to getting there. It kind of brushed past it a little bit on the documentary.
right.
They didn't really tell it a lot, but let's go into a little bit more depth. What was some of the stuff that you was dealing with, even legally, the injuries, it talked about that a little bit, but let's start off with the injuries. Tell me what you went through.
The injuries that killed me. Because at that point, from coming from high school to college or whatever, I loved the game of basketball. Like, excuse my language, I eat shit, sleep basketball at this point.
Gotcha.
Like, I loved it. Like, it was everything for me. And like, injuries, it really took a toll on me. It made me take a step back from the game. It made me like question myself, like, is this really what I want to do in my life? And ultimately, like, that was a rocky situation because I gave up on myself and I didn't know what to do. Like, it was a real tough time. I felt low in the depression. I was smoking weed heavy, and like, that got the best of me because I wasn't working out or doing anything to help myself get back better and on the court at all. So that was tough. And to get over that, really, I mean, to have 2 surgeries on 2 different knees, I mean, it really makes you question, like, if you want to do this or not. And that really killed my mental, bro.
But that road coming back, and what did you have with your knee?
I had torn my ACL meniscus on my right knee, and then I tore my meniscus, and I had a scope tear on my left knee.
Oh, wow. So the rehab was serious, especially that ACL. That's a serious.
It's a full year for one knee and then 3-4 weeks for another one.
So what got you through? How was you able to even get through the rehab part?
To be honest with you, boss, I didn't do any rehab. I did a lot of things, a lot of stuff that I did, a lot of strengthening and all that stuff that I did on my own. Like, I looked up and Googled plans of how to strengthen your quads and your knee and all that kind of stuff. And I was doing little minor stuff on my own. And that was how I was even able to get up and down the court. Because I really gave up. Like, I didn't do anything. Like, I didn't want to better myself at all at that point.
Wow.
But when it came time to, I had to put the work in, and I had got myself back into some kind of shape to even get up and down the court for Mosley.
Well, the skill never left. So the skill was there. Right. So the skill didn't leave at all. You might not have been in shape, but all of that, it was all there. Yeah. And so talk about the legal part. And because this was it mentioned it a little bit. And the reason why I'm going back over it is because, now, whether you know it or not, you're an inspiration for a whole lot of young people who have had different issues, whether they, had legal issues, had family issues, had injury issues, seeing you battle back from it and be successful. And now you're at Long Beach State doing good. You know what I mean? So I just want to let you know, I'm not just going through it all just to, you know what I mean, get all of your business, but you're an inspiration right now. So people need to hear it. So talk about the legal issues that you had.
Well, legally, I had two open cases. At that time, I made two stupid decisions. To be completely honest, first situation, I robbed somebody, got caught. Second situation, I tried to do some bank fraud stuff, and that didn't work out. I got arrested right at the bank. So, like, for anyone going through legal trouble out there, like, it's hard to say. Like, I know you shouldn't be in that situation, and I know it's a tough time, but being in those type situations, it's hard to get out of, because being on probation, and after getting out of jail, after Coach Mosley had wrote the letter to the judge to get me out or whatever, and I was on that tightrope being on probation, it was the worst thing in my life. I felt like I was still in jail. Like, you're still boxed in, you're still part of the system. Like, so, like, I mean, just stay out of trouble. For anyone going through legal situations, please stay out of trouble, stay the course, pray. That prayer got me through it a lot. Most nights when it was tough, when I didn't see no light at the end of the tunnel. Right. And just, like I said, just stay the course, man. My legal troubles, they they came and they went because of how I was moving. I started to move the right way. I was going to school, going to practice, doing what I was supposed to do, staying out of trouble. And ultimately, when it came time for me to graduate from ELAC, my lawyer or whatever, I gave her a call. I told her, like, look, I have an opportunity to go play Division I basketball, and like that's not going to look too good if I'm still on probation, if I'm still, like, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
tied into the system. And ultimately, she gave a call to the judge and got me seen, and they let me off. It was, and my record expense. It was just amazing. Like,
Wow.
it was crazy.
You know, I interviewed Coach Mosley for this, and so you know, he talked very glowingly about you, about how he saw himself in you, and how y'all had this special bond, and how he was never going to give up on you, regardless of how many times you was, you know, he would just like talk about y'all relationship, because that's one thing that was really, you know, you saw it, you know, on display, you know, on the show, but it was. I know there was so many more layers. I know there was so many just more conversations that y'all probably had that they didn't show on screen, you know, and everything like that. Talk about y'all relationship.
Man, Mosley, he's a heck of a guy, man. I have my father in my life, and he's a good father, but like Mosley is like a father figure that I've never had, like a coach that I've never had before. And like, I've had some wonderful coaches in my life. He's just different. He comes with a whole different spectrum of just, I don't know, mightiness. Like he can come in the room, give you one conversation, and leave that room with that conversation like instilled into your brain for the rest of your life. Like, and he has all of those every single day.
Right.
And what we went through, like, our relationship was like a father-son relationship, big bro, little bro relationship. I looked at him, came to him for advice. He had all the answers. I feel like he had everything, like, for me, especially for me.
Right.
Every question that I had, he had every answer for. He knew exactly what I needed to do to get to this point. And I just bought into everything that he told me. And I mean, I respected him. He respected me. I mean, he gave me a little bit of leeway because I did lash out. It was sometimes that I did get out of character with him, and he ultimately, like, just let me do me, because he knew I was a good guy. I knew I'm not the knucklehead or whatever. I just have my little moments or whatever, and he let me get past that. And I think that was the best thing, because in the show, people were saying how he was enabling me, but he said it himself. He wasn't enabling me. Like he said, I'm smart. I know what I'm doing, and I'm not that kid. I'm not gonna be disrespectful to the point where, like, it's like, wow, Joe, like, are you serious? Like, like, nah, I'm not gonna burn the bridge.
Right. You know, it's interesting. You said people were mad at you. So I was watching with my family, and my daughter, I call her Baby Sierra. She's not a baby, but I call her Baby Sierra. And so she was like, "Oh my gosh, if Joe don't start whining, you know what I mean?" She was like, "Oh my gosh, if he don't run the sprint the way he's supposed to run the sprint, what's wrong with him?" You know what I mean? She was like, and so it was interesting. But you know, he would single you out.
Yeah.
Like that time when he was with running the sprint, he was like, "Okay, you didn't make it. Okay, back on the line. You're just gonna run it again." And then he had to run it again. And he was like, "He didn't make it again. Okay, get back on the line. We just gonna wait your own Joe." You know what I mean?
And that was in that exact moment in the show, it was like he was singling me out, and I was trying to single him out. Like, I was trying to be a dickhead to him, and he was trying to be an asshole to me.
Right. It's interesting, you know. Then you saw when y'all bonded, and you saw it was. And I asked Coach about this. About when you all went to the retreat, the woods, whatever, the cabin, whatever it was. And at first, when you got there, you was like, "What is this, man? I ain't trying to, it got bugs, it got dirt. I ain't with all this. What is this? You know what I mean? I got no cell service, you know?" But then by the end, you was like, "Look, I remember you said, I'm gonna just take all in. This is just beautiful out here. I'm gonna just walk around a little bit and take it all in a little bit more before we leave." Talk to me about that experience, because it really seemed like that was a turning point for the entire team, the way that y'all bonded and just everything. Just take me through that.
A lot of people may not know this, but when I was at Oak Hill, it was the same kind of environment that I was in. Like, I was in the middle of nowhere, in the woods, no cell service, none of that. And it was just the guys. And when I went up there, I was a little skeptical about it. Like, I didn't know how to react with those kind of guys because that would be my first time staying overnight anywhere with them like that.
Right.
And once I got comfortable, once I saw that everybody was happy to be there with each other, like, because I was happy. I was taken back the views and all of that stuff. So once I got there, I was good. So once I saw all the guys vibing, I knew it was just a moment that we had to lock in.
Right.
And like being up there, it was fun. Like we bonded like no other. I mean, we didn't have no cell service, so
right,
the only thing you could do was talk to your boy.
Right.
So I learned a lot. I learned a lot of different things about different guys there that wasn't viewed on the show. Like, not to spill anybody's personal business or anything like that,
right.
but it's some real deep stuff that I learned about the guys, and I love them for life for that.
Y'all bonded. You know what I mean? That's how it is with teammates. When you bond, then you have that special bond, because then afterwards, y'all played in that game, and coach was like, "Yeah, if they didn't like each other, we wouldn't have won that game.
We wouldn't have won at all.
Because stuff wasn't going right. If we, you know, you agree with that? That was an interesting
I agree
assessment.
totally. I agree totally because, I mean, like you said, nothing was going right, and we were looking at each other for answers. Like no one wanted to step up and get the job done. We were like, KJ, can you do it? Sean,
Right.
Joe, help us out. Can you do it? And
Right.
it was just a real selfless moment. And everybody just pitched in and did what they could to help us win for that game.
You know, I want to ask you about the refs, because you was always getting into it with the refs. Y'all just had you know, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it looked like they were picking on you because of the fact that you kept getting into it with them. So it's like, that's the way they're going to get back at you. They're going to call a travel when you do a move, or they're going to call you know what I mean? Not call a foul or something like that, or call a foul on you. How did that progress? And was that way pretty much the whole thing? Because we didn't see all the games, but all the games that were shown in the documentary, it was like,
it was so bad.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, like, so the second half of the season, Last Chance was able to capture all of those good moments. But the first half of the season, it was rough. But to fast forward to backtrack, it all started at Pasadena City College.
Okay.
Before I even got to Eli, I had built that reputation there at Pasadena City College. I would be planning games and having fired up moments and talking my stuff to the refs or whatever. And then I'm thinking, because I took a year off, that I would be okay to just come back clean slate. Nah, none of that. The same refs that ref at Pasadena City College were the same refs who ref this whole season at Eli. Yes. So I already had the reputation. Then I'm thinking, like I said before, I'm thinking I have a clean slate. We get to playing games and stuff. Nope, it's not happening. I'm not getting foul calls. I'm getting hacked. They're calling ticky-tack stuff on the other end.
Yep.
They're doing stuff to get in my head. And then when I get in my head, I'm talking my stuff. I'm talking my shit to them. Like, because I'm upset at this point.
Right.
And I feel like you're picking on me. So now I'm going to make it known, okay, you're going to pick on me, I'm going to pick on you. I'm going to make it seem like you're not doing your job good. And refs hate that. They hate when you show them out. So I was showing refs out because they would be picking on me, and it wouldn't work. Coach Mosley got on me a lot about that. Me and Sean, actually. And
you and Sean.
But towards playoffs and towards the end of the season, we stopped that. We didn't care, because at that point we don't care what the refs do. Like, they're not dictating the game.
You know, it's interesting. You always got to take on a mentality that, okay, it's us against the refs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And take, like, they're not gonna give us no calls. Let's not even expect it. Let's just go out and play. You know?
We felt that a lot this past season. I mean, 2 years ago, we felt that a lot at Eli.
You know, when I was watching, I was like, man, that's how they used to do Rasheed Wallace. You know what I mean? I always remember Rasheed would be out there. I saw Rasheed get a tech one time for rolling his eyes. I was like, dang, I'm on the other team. I'm like, so then when they want to get you, they just pick on you, and that's what looked like was happening with you. But I really like the way that y'all bonded together, and I like the growth that it showed with you, because then you went from, and we talk about this a little bit too, from the beginning of knowing that you know, everybody who doesn't play as much wants to play more. Every athlete can relate to that. But then sometimes when it's like clear, you're like, I should be playing. Why am I not playing? And it was like eating you up inside. You know what I mean? To where you was exploding. But then it showed towards the middle, towards the end, where you embraced it and you say, you know what? As soon as I get in the game, I'm going to just terrorize.
Right.
Right. That's basically what it looked like. But then it showed you also giving Muhammad some pointers. Like a lot of times when somebody's playing in front of you, it could be a beef. And you're like, man, this bum dude shouldn't be playing in front of me. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's exactly how it was.
Yeah. But then it showed y'all like bonding, like, oh, how do I do this? And him looking at you and you telling him, nah, but when you do this, you got to get, you know what I mean? And I like that it showed that part, especially for young people, of saying where you could be competitive. You know, you could still be wanting to play more. That could be the person who you're playing against, but then you're still teammates and you're still trying to help them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
At the end of the day, I love him as a brother. So, like, it was rocky at first. Of course, everybody know I wanted to start. And he had the spot, and I was set on taking his spot. So for the first half of the season, I mean, we like I said, I love him like a brother. It wasn't like no beef or nothing like that, but I wanted his spot, and it was known that I wanted his spot. It was known that he wanted to keep his spot. So it was just that competition at first. And then towards the middle to the end where it was like, okay, we're playing well with this system, me coming off the bench. I don't want to change anything. Malik, he's doing well when he starts at this point. So everything is flowing perfectly. Everybody's attitude is good. The chemistry is great. So I wanted to put the team first. I didn't care. Even if Mosley came to me and said, Joe, look, we're going to start you these playoff games. I'm like, no, don't change it, because then it would get everybody out of the flow. It would change things, and it would just be a trickle down effect. So, and I just wanted to put the team before me, and like I'm selfless. Like I'm not selfish or at all. Like that's not the kind of guy I am. Like when it comes to benefiting the team over me, I'm for the team all day. I don't care about starting. I don't care about scoring 50 points. I don't like. I want to do what's necessary to win. And if me coming off the bench and me getting guys fired up and me giving advice to guys is the key for us to win, I'm gonna do that.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I want to talk to you about one incident, one part. So it was I'm trying to remember what was going on. I think you were there. It was just having a rough practice, basically. You know, stuff wasn't going right, everything like that. But there was some coaches that was there to watch you, and they were sitting on the side. And so they're watching you, and you got upset, and it's like you lost it for a minute. I think that's when you went back to the locker room and the other coach came up and got you. So I remember watching it, and I was like, wow, the coaches is right there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is what he's been talking about all this time to get the exposure to the coaches, and they right there, and he kirking out in front of the coaches. You know what I'm saying? Talk to me about it, because I was like, it can't be self-sabotage. You know what I mean? Because he got to be thinking that the coach is there. So just talk to me about that whole process. I knew
the coaches were there. I saw the coaches there. It's just, I don't know. With me, I feel like I'm different. Like I'm not this new generation of guys who would sit there and fake and do all of that just to get the goody in the coach's eyes and none of that. And I'm real. And that's one of the main things that why it was so explicit and why in the show it was so raw, because I'm real. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. If I feel how I feel, coming from where I came from, playing the type of basketball that I play with, and then in that moment that we're talking about, we couldn't get the ball up the court. We were turning it over. We couldn't get the ball in the post. And we about to play our first playoff game.
Right.
No one's playing hard. We're just going through the motions. So at this point, I'm getting fed up. I'm projecting my energy to coach because he's just letting it rock. And that's not like him at all. Like that's. I know you've seen before when we were BSing in practice, he kicked us out the gym.
Right. He be flipping.
So like I'm like, at this point, I'm like, first playoff game, we need to win. Like we need to get motions going. We need to get reps in, get the ball in the post. We got to get going. We can't even get the ball up the post. So I mean, maybe how I handled it was wrong, but I was projecting it my way. I was being real in my way. And my emotions got the best of me. I ain't gonna lie. I might have took it too far by going into the locker room and doing all that, but I was being me. I didn't like how things were going, and I projected the coach. Coach didn't like how I was saying it. I stepped off the court just to collect. I shared my frustrations with the other coaches. They didn't give me any response or anything, so I just was like, fuck it. I guess I'm wrong. So I walked out the gym. I didn't want to bring the energy down anymore, so I walked out, and that's when Coach Ken followed behind me and brought me back and talked to me, and he told me, he was like, you're right, like, but just don't act like that.
Right. But it was interesting when you was talking to Coach Ken, you was taking off your stuff, right?
Yeah,
I was like, I'm done. I'm taking all that stuff. But then you're talking, and then you stopped. And then you looked at him, and he had your eyes. And then you like slowly started putting your stuff back on. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, he got him. Like he brought it back. Talk about like what happened? Like how did he bring you back and just like
his Coach Ken is real. Him and Coach Mosley are the realest guys in America to me. And Coach Ken, he came in the locker room and he told me, he was like, look, Joe, you're right. Like, you're 100% right, but you can't respond like that. Like, what you're doing is wrong. Like, he was just telling me straight up and didn't sugarcoat it or anything. Like, he didn't come in there acting phony. It was like, oh, you acting funny and get your stuff together, or you can go if you want. Right. He wasn't going to let me leave the locker room unless I was fully clothed. So that's the type of guy Coach Ken is. He's raw. And like I said, he told me, like, look, Joe, your response needs to change. Like, you can't act like that. Like, you're not wrong, but you have to say it a different way. You have to show it a different way. Be a leader in a different way. Don't kirk out and don't spaz out when things are going wild, don't going funny, but collect, get guys together, and tell them what they need to do. So that's ultimately what I learned from that situation.
So it's interesting, even talking about like seeing you on Last Chance U, and then talking to people about you now, it's like it's two different personalities. Now you're like all like relaxed and chilled, and you know we kirking, like, you know what I mean? Like, talk about how, like, what changed so much to how you are now.
I mean, a lot has changed. I just got my mentality back that I used to have back when I was playing strong and before the injuries. Like I said, I eat, shit, sleep basketball. Like, it was the love of my life, and like I'm getting those same urges, those same spurts back that I had before. Like, I'm waking up having the urge to work out. Like, I'm waking up touching my basketball, dribbling around. Like, I'm getting that love back, and that's what's changed, really. That's what's changed. The love of the game that I have. Like, I lost it. I didn't care for it anymore, but I picked it back up, and like now that drive and all the intangibles that I had before, the good traits, the leader qualities, all of that stuff, all of it's coming back easy. Just like it was when I didn't pick up a basketball for a year and then picked it up for 2 weeks and everything started coming back to me. Like it was just, it's just natural.
But you still have the times where things don't go right, or the rest have bad calls, or you know, something like that. But your reaction is just different.
It's just totally different. Because I know for a fact. Like I said, I'm not a dumb kid. I know I can't do those same things that Mosley let me do. Not that they let me, that I forced Mosley to let me do.
Right.
I can't do those same things here at Division I Long Beach State with Coach Munson, because there's people watching. Like, I don't know if you guys know, but Coach Munson did a lot for me to get into school.
Okay.
Like a lot, like broke his back to the point where he had personal meetings with the president of the school to get me in school type stuff. So, and it's a different kind of situation. So like, I love him for life. Like, I would never do anything to burn that bridge, or, you know, like just even step my foot back into that old path or anything like that. Like, I'm just straight and narrow now.
But Coach Mosley did a lot for you too to be able to get there. You know what I mean?
Mosley did a lot for me to get there, and Mosley sat me like there. I was there for a whole year before I even played at the season of Last Chance U.
Oh, okay.
I was at ELAC a whole year before. I was there sitting. He didn't let me play.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I was on probation with him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You have to go to school. You have to get your grades up. You're not going to touch the floor.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, he is a special coach. Yes. You know, I mean, because obviously, you know, he could have let you play. Yeah. And, you know, you would have been good. I mean, I know he said at first, you know, he said, look, we don't need you to win. Yeah. But that's what he told you for the mentality that you have. But looking at it as far as playing, you know, he could have used you that first year before that. You know, so that says a lot. That says a lot for him, though, to hold you. I didn't know he sat you out the whole first year.
Yeah, no. That's not, I mean, I think he talked about it on the show as well. I talked about it in my story, but the way the editing and stuff worked, it didn't fit into what was best for the story that they put out. But it was a lot told.
So do you still keep in touch with the guys? You know, you built this good. Yeah. So all y'all still keep in touch with each other?
We actually just took a team trip to Vegas not too long ago. We just had a good time out there. Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope that y'all all tight and y'all all still, you know, talking everything. And everybody's doing good. Everybody playing different places.
Yeah. And Mark. I'm waiting on Mark to get right, man. Mark is my guy. I'm waiting on him to get right. He's a little injured right now, but he'll be back soon.
That's great, man. That's great. Well, listen, I love the show, and like I said, you're an inspiration for people,
Thank
for
you.
young cats. I'm out here, I coach AAU, and I see young cats. I see young cats with attitudes way worse than what you had. You know what I mean? And but they at some point it has to click. Like, okay, I'm going to be a detriment to myself if I don't change, or okay, if I keep going down this road, I'm gonna be one of the people who never made it, and just had stories about how nice they was back in the day, but they never made it. And that could have easily been your story. Like, we could not be sitting here talking right now, honestly. Like, it could have been a story like, yeah, this dude Joe Hampton back in the day, remember the dude who used to play at the math man, he was nice. And then everybody been like, man, I ain't heard about it. And they telling stories about you. You know what I mean? So that's why I gotta say a lot of respect to you for being able to, first of all, be okay with yourself being put on display like that, because a lot of people don't like that. I mean, because being on Last Chance U, everybody got to see your mistakes. Everybody got to see, you were on display. Like, I wanted to ask you, even before we stop and everything, how was that part? Because
it was different.
It was
a lot
it's
different.
on Netflix. You know what I mean? It's not like it's on local channel or something like that. You're on Netflix.
Yeah. Netflix is one of the biggest streaming platforms in America,
right?
All over the world, especially. And like having a camera follow you all over the place, having a camera in your face, having cameras in your home, like it's different. It's different. It's something to get used to. But the camera crew made it cool for us to open up, and it's just that simple. They were good guys. They were good guys and women. It was a mixed camera crew. They were fun. They were open. They told us stories about their lives and their past experiences with Last Chance U and different players or whatever. So I mean, it was just easy for us to open up to them because of how like good and cool they were to us. So me and Sean saw that it was like a no-brainer to be raw and explicit and be real in the show.
All right, so before I let you go, tell me one story that didn't make the cut. Coach Mosley told me a story where him and Sean had an experience they had outside the bus that didn't make the cut. Tell me one story that was really impactful that just didn't make the cut.
A story that was impactful that didn't make the cut. It was a lot. I mean, little bits and pieces, but I would say the game when I lashed out because my girlfriend was locked up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was a game at home, and like right before the game, I was talking to my girlfriend or whatever, and it was just a little emotional. And like I felt that I didn't want to play. But Marquise Copeland, one of my teammates, he's actually from Washington, D.C. as well. He was in my ear a lot at ELAC, and like he persuaded me to do a lot of things different than what I wanted, had my head set on doing. And I got the courage to play, and like things were just going horrible. And I think like I don't remember exactly too much of what I did, but I think I cussed the ref out and got like a technical foul and got thrown out the game. Like that was my second tech, and I got thrown out the game.
Huh? Yeah. It didn't show that part. It didn't show that. Oh, I remember what I wanted to ask you too. The last scene, when y'all are all in the locker room and they told about what happened and everything like that. And he was like, man, I got to get out of here. I'm too emotional for this, and then you went in front of coach and you told him you loved him and you gave him a hug. Like that scene, I was like, wow, like that's a powerful scene because it showed how much, like, even you didn't say a whole lot of words, you said a whole lot without saying a whole lot. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yep. And tell me some of the emotions that you was feeling there, because that's what I saw. I was like, wow, that was a powerful moment.
Yeah, it was really powerful. I mean, that's why I had to leave. It was just too many emotions flowing at once. It didn't hit me at all. Like I was still lollygagging, joking around when we got into the locker room. I was still twisting my bag around, not even really thinking about what was going on until I seen him like break down, like him talking. I'm like, wait, what? Like season's over? Like no way. Then it hit me instantly. And then I just broke down because like I'm an emotional person.
Right.
I feel, and seeing my coach like that and hearing what he was saying to us, and like, because I felt his emotions at that time. Like I knew, like when he said that we were his favorite team, we were the best team in the books.
Yeah,
like, I felt that, like that hit me, and like I feel like he's one of my favorite coaches of all time. So like, and I have nothing but love and respect for him for what he did for me when no one else would, and like I love him. Like I meant that. Like
yeah.
I love him as a father figure. I love him as a coach. I love him as a big brother, and like you just can't break that bond. And when I was walking out, when I was leaving, I couldn't leave the locker room. I dapped all the guys up, said my little sentimental messages. And I told Strawn I love him. I don't know if the camera got that.
Mm-hmm.
Me and him showed love. I dapped everybody up. And then when they got coach, I had to give him a hug and tell him I love him because he was the main one. Like he got me here and to that point. So I had to show him love.
That's what's up, man. Well, everybody who hasn't seen it, Last Chance U on Netflix. It's a fantastic documentary. No, it really is. Watch it again. Like it was really dope. And also because I coach AAU and I couldn't coach these last years because of COVID, so it was like I was missing coaching watching it. You know what I mean? I'm getting hyped when y'all getting hyped. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So I love all the emotions that y'all showed. So good luck to you, man. You got a whole lot of people rooting for you now. People want you to do well. People, in your corner. So keep doing your thing. And you know what I'm saying? I'll just be happy seeing you just prosper and everything the way that you're going. So
thank you. Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
For sure. All right, man. Peace.
All right.